Hi guys, welcome back. In this video we'll quickly have a look at or quickly understand how the help system in PowerShell works. PowerShell commands could be really long and daunting in its help section. For example, if I do get help on clear host, which takes basically no arguments, that's the syntax, clear host and common parameters. We'll talk about common parameters later. But if you look at something a little more complicated, like get command or get help, get service. So I'll break this down in the future, but that type get service for syntax, and there's 3 variations of this command depending on what sort of inputs you provide. And the ones in you could just run get service because everything else is in brackets, which means they're all optional. So everything has a bracket around them. Like you could pass a computer name, but it's not important. You could pass a name, which is a string. Basically, the name corresponds to a service, right? And dependent services, again, pass a string. You can exclude certain strings. Basically, you can exclude services which contain certain strings. So this one takes a name, and this one takes the display name, which is also another property in the table. Required services, that's what's different about this one. And input object, service controller. So we will talk about this when we pipe output from another command into get service and how it picks which command it perceives you as running. So yeah, we'll talk more about that. But if I go down, you see the help section is very small, but if I do full, I get a whole lot more. Like I could keep scrolling up. Yeah, so that's the first command, and this is where we typed full, and it's easily given us a couple of pages worth of information. But let's say I don't want full help section. I just want examples, right? It says it can't find the help files for this commandlet on this computer. That gets us on to the actual command that I wanted to show you. Get help about get service and go online. So it opens up another browser and gets me, so see, it just opened up another browser and I've got the online help there. And it's got all the examples as well. Usually it has 8 examples. So 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 examples for this one. So that's how you could get online help, but a server that we're connected to might not have online help all the time. So what we can instead do is go through the proxy and update help. Just to update help, and that should run its magic. You should see like a teal color progress bar just here. Right, it does fail. It does come up and say it failed for a couple of things, which is fine. Invalid operation, exception, blah blah blah. So if I go back and do the examples that I was trying to do, okay, it still can't find them, but you get the idea. You could always use online. If I go back to the same command and just use help, it'll still do the same thing, because get alias is another command. So if I do get alias, it'll type all the commands, but I want to do find str, basically find a string which has help. Some of you might be going, how come you're using the commands from command prompt? Well, the idea is to get around using PowerShell, and PowerShell does provide all these aliases, get alias, for a simple reason, so people find it easier to use. So you could use any of these commands. Some of these are just aliases of the old commands, like that one. Help and man, they're linked together. Man, when you type man, it calls help, and help actually has to call get help, because it is an alias, but I don't see it here in the list of aliases. So yeah, it's just FL's format list. For each is for each object, percentage, which is for each object. We'll talk about this in the future lessons. So that's how you can get a simple help on something. If I want to get help on get alias, but I want to get detailed help. So we looked at full, we looked at examples, and we're looking at detailed. So detailed gives you less information than full. and I can say the same thing. Instead of details, I could say parameter, and then it'll show me all the parameter section. From the full output of get help, it shows you only the parameter section. Right, so quite a few variations there. Let me see if examples works for this. Examples, you could do tab complete. No, well, so basically the help files on my computer are not up to date. That's why I can't use examples, but I will fix that problem later on. If I want to find help with a certain string, I could say get help, and I want to say about. So PowerShell documentation has about underscore for like regex or arithmetic operators or whatever, right? And then it brings up what I have here. So let's scroll up. So all of these things have about sections for them, right? Bits, about bits commandlet. So basically that's the topic it picked up. That's probably the only one I have at the moment, I think. PowerShell and bits commandlets. Yeah, so it picked up the about bits section. I could say get help about command syntax. I know this exists, but I don't know if it'll succeed. Okay, it's going online to find it. Okay, couldn't find it, but that's alright. Look, something might have changed, or I might have got it wrong, but that's how, if you know there's an about section, if you go to Microsoft Docs and you have about underscore section about something, like I think there is for operators. So operators, help connection to the internet isn't working, but yeah, I'll fix that later. So the other command we talked about to get help was get command, and I want to say get alias, right? If you know what you're looking for, if you want to get command about, I want to say type function. There's different types of commands. So these are all functions. And then, well, there's only 3 types, not different types. The scripts, script or scripts, script I think, type script. Okay, so there's aliases, scripts, and functions. But I think they're all type alias. Alias, yeah, these are all the aliases. Now, why is script not working? Maybe I don't have any scripts. Okay, I probably don't. A very useful help command is, let's say I want to get command and I pipe that to get member, right? Very useful. I'm gonna use this a lot. So if you want to run a command, you can see what methods and properties it has. So this one has a property called module, property called version, visibility, etc. Now get command get member gives you the member functions and commands. It's great to see that you made it to the end of the video. If you'd like to download all my knowledge as a zip file, hit the subscribe button. To download it as a tarball, use like or share button.